Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and today we're going to talk some tea empties. All right, you guys, so yet another month has passed and we are now officially firmly in April, and I figured I'd hop on here and give you a quick rundown of my March tea empties. Not quite as many as I normally have, but that's because I haven't been drinking as much tea in general. Having limited my caffeine intake. Oh, there goes a water heater. Excuse me. Okay, so having limited my caffeine intake over the last few months, I just have not naturally been drinking as much tea, mostly because the decaf tea that I do have is not tea that I necessarily want to be drinking during the day. It's more after dinner tea, whether it's like a ginger tea or a dessert like Rooibos tea. And so it's not really something that I want first thing in the morning or really in the afternoon until later in the afternoon. As a result, I just have not been drinking a ton of tea. Hence, not very many tea empties. However, despite that, I still have quite a few tea empties to share with you today. So let's go ahead and quit my jabbering and I will show you what I have. All right, so first up is one of those decaf teas I was mentioning. It is the Golden Milk from Estate Teas, which is a turmeric and ginger tea. And I love this. I guess you would call it a tisane rather than a tea, but this is great. I bought a very large package of this sometime last year and just finished it now, and this is perfect for after dinner. Like I love this tea. Next up is Rare Tea Company's Da Hong Pao. Honestly, don't really remember a ton about this. I think it was fine. I haven't really found something from Rare Tea Company that I just have absolutely fallen in love with. So I'm still searching. I still have a couple more of their teas that I haven't tried yet that I've been saving, thinking that they might be the ones that I like really enjoy. I can say that the next tea, which is another Rare Tea Co. blend, is the Cloud Tea. Now, I really did enjoy this one. This was really great in the Gaiwan, and it's slightly sweet. It's a very unique tea. Like I can't, honestly, like I don't really know what I couldn't pinpoint like the flavors that I was getting from it, but it's very unique, kind of like chocolatey, kind of sweet, and a little bit of toastiness on top of it. It was just not really like any other tea I've ever had. So I enjoyed it. I would buy it again. But again, like I just haven't fallen in love with anything from Rare Tea Company yet. And I know that that's my fault. So I have not given up on the idea that I will find a tea that I will fall in love with from them. Next up is In Pursuit of Tea, their Wood Dragon. This is a tea that my husband got me for Christmas. He got me a whole variety from a bunch of different companies, and this is an oolong. And this was pretty good. This was something I did in the Gaiwan, but again, it wasn't anything that I would buy again. Didn't stand out as far as like I love it, I need it, that kind of thing. But I had not heard of In Pursuit of Tea prior to my husband getting it for me, so I was excited to find out about a new company that I had never heard of. Next up is Bird & Blend's Cherry Bakewell. I bought this one on a whim sometime last year, and I was delighted to find that I really did enjoy it. I actually prefer it iced and cold steeped over hot, but it's good hot. But it makes a really delightful iced tea. Okay, we have a tea bag of the Sleep With Me chamomile. I have never been a huge fan of chamomile. I guess this is honeybush and chamomile and a couple of other things. Honestly, chamomile's not really my thing. I keep trying it and it's not my thing. All right, next up is the David's Tea Birthday Tea. I bought this again last year on a whim to see if there would be a Rooibos tea that I would actually enjoy. I have such a hit and miss experience with Rooibos. It's really hard for me to find something that I enjoy. So I honestly wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about that. But turns out it came into my life exactly the right time, and it has been a go-to of mine in the evenings the last few months. And so much so that I bought more to replace that. So, I mean, that tells you something. All right, this is the Baimudan from Arbor Teas. This is a white tea, and I definitely liked it better than some of the other white teas that I've had recently, but again, not something I would probably repurchase. Nothing has quite surpassed the Baihao Yinshin from David's Tea, and it's so expensive to get it from David's Tea, but it's my favorite thing to drink in the morning. It's like hard to justify buying it, so I usually save it for my rewards, but I miss having it in my life. I wish I could find something to replace it. All right, next up is David's Tea Throat Rescue. I'm sure if you have been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that this is one of those go-to blends in my collection at any time. Throat Rescue is something that I usually sip on after a session, or my husband sips on after he's had a bunch of meetings. And it's really just, it's a decaf tea that is soothing. It has some licorice in it. Let's see, some fennel, mint, ginger, anise, peppermint, nettle leaves, like lots of soothing things for your throat, so you can have some recovery if you've had a vocal straining day. So we always have some on hand. Just bought some more to replace that empty bag as well. So yeah. And last but not least is this little box from English Tea Shop. This is one of the advent calendars that I had, not from 2020, from 2019, I think, that I just never drank because I just was not thrilled with these teas from English Tea Shop, because so many of them had cloves and cinnamon and cardamom in it, and at the time I didn't want to drink that stuff. I still was very much like, I do not like chai, I don't want to drink these flavors, I am not interested. But now that I know that I like chai, I've been more willing to try these things. And so this was a Rooibos herbal blend with cloves, cinnamon, cardamom, garlic, turmeric, and echinacea. And I really thought I was going to love this. And it was just kind of But I have a few more of these, so they will probably pop up in my tea empties moving forward, because if you have it, you better get rid of it, right? So that is it. Not quite as much as I normally have, but still quite a few empties. I clearly cleared out the remaining things that were like hanging about in my stash that were close to being done. So happy to have the space, and therefore I can get some more in there and hopefully find some things that are just like some really great gems that I just need to have in my collection at any given time. That's really one of my goals for 2021, is to have just a very small curated collection of tea that I just absolutely love. And so my goal for the rest of the year is to sip through everything else so that I can really hone down my collection and just have something I want to grab every single day. So, because the fact of the matter is that I gravitate to the same things all the time. And especially, you know, the past year and still now, like I'm looking for things that I find comfort and being soothed by. And so I want my good old reliables, you know, I don't necessarily want to be trying anything out of my comfort zone. Tea brings me so much joy, and so when I'm sipping on tea that doesn't bring me joy, it's really kind of a bummer. I'm sure all of you out there can absolutely relate to that. But how did you do in March? Did you sip through anything? Did you finish anything in your collection that you absolutely need to add back immediately? Was there something that was hanging on for way too long and you're so glad that it's finally gone? Let me know in a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you are up to and what you've been sipping on. All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.